Oh, hello. Good morning. Oh, let me do something first. I want to make sure this is not taking over. Yeah, there you go. Hello, how are you? It's 7:33. Got about 20 minutes. This is a small dog fight happening out here. Got about 20 minutes left to sit in the car. I let myself be panicked by the wife telling me that there's like movies and stuff being shot in the neighborhood. So I got up super early to make sure I got a spot. Because as we know, not only is Tuesday Alpha Tuesday, but when there's like road work or movies where they block off a ton of streets because they got to park all their trucks and they want to fill this neighborhood with all kinds of crazy old cars because this neighborhood's kind of old, so they can, make it look like different parts of the city in different eras. Good morning, Anna. How are you? So I know they're shooting movies in the neighborhood, so I got up crazy early and I moved my car into my spot, my preferred spot. You may recognize the dry cleaner's gate or window right there. And then there was nobody here. So I got here crazy early. And it sucked, as always. And then the oil truck came to deliver oil to the building, and they just like honked at me to move. And of course I did, because my 2,000-pound car does not beat a 10,000-pound oil truck. And also, the building needs fuel, so who am I to be in the way? Although I feel like he could have gone around me. But, it's also cold outside, so who wants to get out and be like, go around, go around? I didn't want to get into a yelling match with that guy. I could easily have gotten into a yelling match. Because who doesn't love yelling? But, yeah. I had another interesting road-related happening last week. Was it last week? Did I talk about this? Where someone moved a barrel in my cab. I was on my way to the doctor, and my cab went all the way down the street. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention. I was like on my phone, and my cab, I was going to the doctor, went all the way down the street to this, like, the intersection, and then a guy pulled a barrel in front of our cab and was like, no, you got to go back. Now, this guy could have easily let us through, the other three cars that were behind us through, but he was like, no, we got work to do here. You got to go back. So I got out of the cab, and I was like, you can't just stop us all the way at the end of this avenue-long block to tell us we got to go back. And he's like, there's a sign up there. It said that the road was closed. Someone moved the barrel. I don't know. And I was just, So he had to walk the length of this thing anyway. He could have just let us go through, then walked up there and moved the barrel back. But instead he made all four cars back up the length of the street. And then, as it turned out, there were multiple streets blocked off, so we had to drive like half a mile or a quarter mile down one way to go around all this road work. Oh, New York City, why? So that sucked. And as a result, I was late for my appointment, and I had to have a very truncated doctor's appointment. It was very frustrating. But I got what I wanted. Oh, there's Ace. Goodbye, Ace. Have a nice day at school. He is getting into an Uber. It takes him to school, which is coming to an end, as he is now no longer afraid to ride the subway alone. He takes the train home, but he takes an Uber there. Now, convenience-wise, taking an Uber to school, who doesn't want that? Cost-wise, not so great. Anyway, I don't know how it is where you are, but it is chilly willy here. 47 degrees in New York City. Do not like. Makes getting up to move the car very difficult. And there's always the fear that the car's not going to start because of the cold. Although, it should start. This is a pretty decent car. The Subaru Outback 2010. Lovingly driven? I was going to say something else more poetic, but driven works. Yes. I saw, I hope, Anna, I hope your day is going great, although it is 6:38 there in the morning. That's early. But I assume you've got children to force out the door in the morning, much like we do. Like mine just left to go to school. The second child is still, most likely, just getting started. But it is a nightmare. Being a parent, in general, just the worst. Except for those lovely moments where they say a sweet thing, or you see them grow, and you're like, oh, it's great. And the rest of the time it's like, oh my God, I just want to watch TV by myself at night. Stop calling my name. You know, a long time ago, I came up with a great idea. Now, I've had a lot of great ideas that I've seen come to fruition down the line. Caffeinated beer, things like that. But so I had this idea for an inflatable collar. Goes around your children's neck, and it's for when they reach a certain volume level, it would activate these bladders that would just apply gentle pressure to the carotid artery, depriving them of blood and oxygen to the brain, and they would pass out. So it's like a sleeper hold that they induce themselves when they get too excited. Now, my friend, or my cousin, who's also a friend, Rick, said he thought that the act of repeatedly being choked would be traumatic to the children. You know, you got to break a few eggs, but I think it might be worth it. You know, just like when people start getting heated, you know, they start saying like, you know, I don't want to do my homework. You know, you just hear those little motors kick in. Brrr, I don't want. And then they would go. Psh, you know, they're not going to continue to choke you. Of course, there is a risk, but we would really test it to make sure it wasn't going to be choking your children. I think this is a great idea. And the future of just general population control. Now that means, like, you know, people are having a protest. You get your Antifa out there, like, protesting the Klan. They start, or like a G8 or a G20 kind of world event kind of deal. And, you know, you get these protesters, and they're starting to smash the Starbucks windows and whatever. You know, give the government the ability to choke everyone out in the crowd. No more bullets. Just everyone being like, you know, down with capitalism. I'm sure it would be that fast, and not everyone clutching at their airways as they flopped around, dropping their signs. But yeah, just imagine that. Just streets full of sleeping angels. Instead of all that protesting. I'm glad your kids love this. This is their future. It's a dystopian future of being choked out while you, whenever you get a little ornery. But you haven't found out. Maybe I should do a Kickstarter. I think that'd be a pretty great Kickstarter. The other Kickstarter idea I have is for a door that if someone comes to the door and you don't want to deal with them, it would irradiate them and make them sick, or potentially kill them. This is an old sketch comedy idea that I wrote that I always wanted to make into a commercial, but I never actually did. But the irradiator, which is a door that flash fries whoever is bothering at your door if you don't want to deal with it. Like, you know, it's like, oh, ugh, vacuum salesman. It wouldn't be right away. You have to actually power it up. But that uranium container right next to your door, perfectly safe. You'll be able to kill people at your door for 500 years. Just with that one pellet. And unless you're killing a lot of people, you know, if you're abusing it, one, your front walkway will be a completely irradiated nightmare which no one will be able to live on or approach your house. But there'll also be sort of like horrible shadows in all the directions of the multiple door-to-door salesmen and religious people and fundraisers and trick-or-treaters, if you're into that kind of thing. So, it'd be a Hiroshima nightmare. But think about your peace of mind. What's that worth? That's all I'm saying. So yeah, 10 minutes left in my New York City imposed car prison time. I've got my coffee. Oh, good morning, Dynamo. You really should be asleep. This is Dynamo has joined and Miguel Rodriguez has joined. Most of these people are in the Midwest or East Coast-ish, but Dinah is in Seattle, which means that for her, it's 4:44? Yeah, that's right. Time zones. Do you know how many the United States have? Do you know how many the Soviet Union has? 11. It's not even funny. Negative Land callback. Woo! Everyone loves little Negative Land. Gong. Yeah. I was recently, and Jose has joined. It's a party now. We can have, it's like back in the 80s. We could have call each other and be talking the party chat line. And it would only cost like, quarter a minute or $1 a minute. Your parents can afford that. Good morning, Miguel. How are you? What was the thing? Oh, the sun is starting to destroy my face. Hooray! And now there's just a line. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I remember back in where was that? Well, I mean, it must have been on one of the Channel J back in the days, the famous Midnight Blue days. But there was a channel that did adult stuff in there. Or maybe it was just during the night. Not a LAN party. That's nerd stuff. I gotta take this off because this light is killing my face. And I'm extremely self-centered. So, oh no, yeah. It's just when they used to do those advertisements for the call lines and be like, hey, people your age are waiting to talk to you. Whereas now everything's chat rooms or Snapchat. But you would have to call people. This is really an unflattering line across the face. What are you gonna do? I'll be down here with you. It's exciting. We're having a secret party. But there was one that was like, there was a very gay-oriented one that was just like, strut around the meat locker. Lots of meat is hanging out waiting to talk to you. And it was like, 970 beef. There was never anybody there. Spent so much money hanging out in the meat locker, and there was no beef. It was a lie. But I do remember in 7th or 8th grade, there used to be, 976, 970 numbers where you would call and it would be like some, 30-second erotic tale. And it was real dumb. At the time, I thought it was fucking amazing. It was amazing. Like, I just called this number and heard a lady have like a crazy sex adventure. That's what life is like. A sex adventure. Not true. Sorry, Anna. I'm sure your children are still thrilled with my discussion. But, hey. 7:47 a.m. raw talk. We're talking raw. That's right. We're getting raw in the morning. I wish... it's so early. I really feel bad asking people to come sit in the car. And they've been shown that they're willing to sit in the car with me at this time. But I feel like that is going to get worse as the weather goes. And then I've got all my self-defeating behaviors. The doubt, it creeps in. It's the worst. Even when I've proven myself over and over again to be a rock-solid individual, I have to deal with the doubt. Who's behind me? It's okay. That's true. Kids do love meat lockers. Especially when the beef's hanging out. 970 beef. Come strut around the meat locker. It was an erotic time in the 80s. Yeah. Maybe Jose remembers. There was the one guy, there was a rapper who was on one of those commercials. Maybe it was like, no, I was going to say Steady B, but I don't think so. Who was on one of those commercials for like maybe the Christmas rap, and then he ended up robbing a bank, like going to jail. There was a lot of great 970 numbers, and I can't imagine why that was a successful business. That you could, just have kids call a number and hang out online. Or not online, on the phone. Because kids are the worst, so they're probably talking over each other, being silly. Kids are so silly. What are you going to do with kids? They're silly. What with their wants? Oh, so I started reading my next episode of Lou Reed's last night. It's for a Hiccups forum. And the Hiccups forum people have a problem where they're turned on by hiccups. But what do you do if you hear kids hiccuping? Because kids get the hiccups. And one guy described hearing hiccups and being turned on and then finding out it was a kid. And being like, I wasn't attracted to the kid, just the idea of the hiccups. That's normal, right? It's not normal. Not at all. That's why it's a fetish. It's gross. All fetishes are gross and shouldn't happen. Whatever it is you're into, if it's not just normal stuff, don't do it. And don't be into it, and be ashamed if you are. That's what drives America. 5 minutes until I can get out of the car, go back in the house, get dressed. Because I'm not dressed in my normal street clothes. Yes, deviance is what drives America. Hidden deviance. It's just the shame creates an energy that we use to drive ourselves into success. And it's worked for so long. That's what's wrong with what's happening today with all these people who are like trying to come out and embrace who they think they really are. The trans, the gender queers. When America was more afraid to be who it wants to be, we got so much more done with just like the energy that everyone was over like, oh, I can't be who I want to be. I'll be a businessman, successful person. But now everyone's like, I can be who I want to be. I don't need to listen to the man. I can, I'm a raccoon businessman. Fail. Out of business. It's just the way America's going. And that, there's not a guy in Russia who's like, I'm a businessman. I'm also a raccoon or a squirrel. Because they don't have the time to be doing that over there. Russia is similar to Mogadishu. That's how it is in my mind, as far as chaos. Dinah, you're saying that there's probably an archive of 976 numbers somewhere? I'm sure there is. There's probably, wait, are you saying there's an audio recordings of them, or that they're just archives of the commercials? Because I'm sure the commercials exist. Because they were commercials, and people have saved many commercials. Yeah, that is too bad. There's not enough nostalgia about. There's plenty of nostalgia about commercials and local commercials, but it is until there are some really great ones. I was just talking to someone about talking to Jody about the old LDS commercials with who broke up my window? Telling the truth isn't gonna be easy. Who broke my window? Why is my stomach all nervous and queasy? Mr. Robinson, I did a terrible thing. I broke your window with my... I made a terrible mess. I broke your window with my ball, and I'm here to confess. You know, and it's all these like morality plays in 30-second commercials made by the Mormons. And they were interracial, and there was all kinds of progressive shit going on in those commercials. While the LDS itself was not progressive, but they had all sorts of morality commercials. They were good, but I don't know if they were in the Midwest. They were definitely on the East Coast, non-stop, teaching me lessons about racism and lying and whatnot. My friend Jimmy says I'm prejudiced. Why is that? Who's Jimmy? Jimmy's my Jewish friend. Well, then you are prejudiced because you think of him as your Jewish friend and not your friend. What a lesson we all learned from that little racist jerk and his super woke grandpa on the lake while they were fishing. Yeah. Better days? Is it better than the commercials now where you got to be dealing with Shaq driving around with a animated general? Will that be what we remember him for? And when are we having a show? Don't you think Shaq and the General deserve their own sitcom? I think that'd be pretty great. Pretty great show. Television gold. Because but which one is which? If it's a odd couple situation. Seems like the General, being a military guy, would be the more buttoned up guy. And he'd have to be dealing with Shaq and Shaq Diesel's issues. Mostly that he's always dunking on stuff. Because you can't fake the funk on a nasty dunk. As people have been known to say. The TV, you mean the Mormon stuff? It was like, for me, it was after school. And so were the 976 numbers. That was more like stuff you'd see on USA Network or TBS, during your USA dance parties and whatnot. After school. Good times. Well, it's 7:55. Our time together has come to a close. Once again, I'll be here in the afternoon, moving my car back across the street in what we call the move back. Still debating whether or not if I made mixed cocktails in the move back section of the day. I'm sure I'd be breaking the law, but who would know? I'm not driving anymore, but I don't want to get a ticket. That's the whole reason I'm stuck in this car. If anyone knows Mayor de Blasio, please have him come. I'll sit with both mayoral candidates in this car in the morning, and we can talk about alternate side parking all morning. If you've got any connections with those people, please call them and ask them to come sit in the car with me so we can discuss Brooklyn's filthy streets and why there should be alternate side parking 3 days a week. This would not be my stance, but I'd be willing to have a debate about how stupid that idea is. My own idea. All right. Good morning, everybody. Or good night, because you should be going to bed, Dinah. Or pushing through the rest of the day in misery. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's lovely spending time with you. That guy just walked by in the background. He's going somewhere. And I'm going home. Which is right there. Just right there. Just right at the door, into the other door, then another door, then up some stairs, then into another door, and that's me. I'm home. You're probably already home, but you're leaving your home soon, except for you, Dinah, to go to work of some variety. Me too. But first home, which you already is in. Goodbye. Pushy, pushy, pushy.